Hi, thank you for joining me today. At the moment, I don't think there's anything of great interest to talk about, so let's get on with it. With this chair, I don't need to take the bottom cloth off. I will, however, recover the bottom because this has picked up some dirt over the years and it's got some tears, so that would be the last thing I do. I'm just going to recover it. No point in removing it, I don't think. Along here, I just need to be really careful removing all of this because it goes straight down onto the wooden trim. It's actually been stapled. In some ways that makes it easier because all I've got to do is pull that up and take the staples out like that. Once this is removed, I can then work on the actual cover underneath and pull that out. I would be very careful and go towards the decorative side, but I would also put my thumb there to stop it going all the way through and breaking up the wood. And I'm going to ease it like this. I'm not going to hammer it out just yet. Once all of this is up, I can then see what it is I'm doing underneath. The foam is quite old. If I pull my finger across here, it does not pip, so it's good enough to stay. The other thing I will do is cover it with some Dacron. That fills out any problems I might have with the new cover. Although I am using a thinner Dacron than usual, it still is going to do the right job. Push that in here, push that under there, bring that to the back, sort of work out where that goes, pull it out and cut in the general direction. Doesn't have to be perfect. All the way to the back and out to the sides. I did think about ironing it, but sometimes these fabrics are really not worth ironing. It should just pull out as I pull everything in. What I've done is I centered one side and then I made sure that my center mark was an equal distance to the selvage, and the reason is I might have cut one side wonky, but the selvage will always be straight. Pop that across for now. I have my centre mark here. I'm going to pull it down a little bit so it lines up with the centre here and find a point either side. Don't worry about pulling it away from each other at the moment, that's not important. I'm going to try to make sure that the line is straight because I don't want it twisting, and pop it on the other side too. That's going to hold everything as I pull it into the back. I need to know where the centre back is, so put that there to here, and it's just over 18.5 inches, which would be 9.25, just over there, so round about here. Pull that across, there's my mark, pull that down, and I'm going to secure it across the top. Do that in a couple of places because I want that to be nice and even. I'm going to try to keep the weft thread, in this case, in a line, especially in the centre here, and work out that way as well. Now that I've got longer staples in, I'm just going to go across here and secure it through the webbing. I'm stopping a few inches in from either side because I want to pull the corners into place. Because this chair has these arms, I've had to stabilise the fabric along here so that when I pull the new seat cover backwards, it's not going to pull this out of line. I'm going to make sure I don't go below that line. The original people put all of the staples very close to that edge. I'm going to bring that down. Not that this really matters whether it's straight or not. And this, and I'm going to try to visualise the line going across from the inside arm to the inside arm here and pull it down into place. Now I'm going to put my thumb nail here so I know where the top of that is and put my two staples in, avoiding my thumb. If I lift that up, I can see all of this here. There's not much fabric showing because there's not much of a depth behind here. But I'm going to cut in at this angle here to the inside corner, which is about there. I don't have to worry too much because most of this is going to be hidden. I'll put that down and pull it back. With a little bit of manoeuvring, I've pulled this in a little bit better. This, I don't have to fold under exactly. I will fold it slightly at the back, but it really doesn't need to be because I'm going to be bringing it into here. So I'm going to secure that there a little bit higher because it doesn't have to be right in the corner. I ended up pulling it a little bit further into the back, and I'm going to just cut that up like that. I will fold it under because I always do, and then I'm going to pull it into place like that. Now, by pulling the front so that the warp and weft threads are in line means this can come down and take up some of the shaping, and I will secure that here along the top. I will probably take some of these out so I can pull those in as well, and then I'll do the same on the other corner. I don't want anything interfering with the back along here, so when I put the outside back in, it's not lumpy. I'm not quite in the right place. I can feel the front and it goes all the way into position, but I can also feel the front of the inside back there, so I'm going to just cut from here up. Anything on the front there will go into place and this will come around the back, and I'll cut this off so I can fold that underneath and make it nice and neat. Here again, it is going to form a bit of an arc, but I do think I might be able to take it a little bit further back. I'm going to secure that and pull all of this in a little bit further. The staples on the front will stop it pulling too far forward. I've marked the centre, which I'm going to put here. So I've evened that out. This is just to stabilise it. And then I'm going to follow the weave either side and pull it enough to make it taut. And the same that end. I marked the centre by making sure that it was equidistant from the selvage on both top and bottom of this piece of fabric. Shove that through to the back. Marked where the centre is there. I'm going to pull this in and secure it just like I had on the seat. I need to push it down a little bit more from the front to get it in line. I've marked the front, which I'm going to put in here. I'm going to bring it over the edge because as it goes underneath it does twist back. I should imagine that's about halfway across the top there, and staple it in. The top end here, fold that over so I can find the centre, which is round about there. It's a bit awkward getting under here, so I think what I'm going to do, pull that back to here and work out where I might be heading to. So I'm going to cut that first. Not too far because I'm really not sure where I'm going to, and I'll cut across the top there just a little ways and then rework everything. Force that towards the back under there, make sure that comes round. I kind of got it. Push that there. This is where I'm coming in here. Take that down a little bit. That will come at the back, although I do have to cut this way so it goes under the arm, but I'll get that in a minute. Fold it out to start off with and secure. So this is my secure place here. Doesn't have to be terribly tight, just tight enough so it's not loose. And into the back. Pull that to the back and secure. Cut a little bit further into here so I can fold that under and into place. All this will be hidden with a bit of luck. Now I've pulled this side back and I'm going to just cut in like this. Now having cut that back, I'm going to secure it. This can be pushed back through and underneath the arm. Secure that on both sides. That's so that it doesn't move too much. Before I start underneath, I'm going to cut this back on both sides. I'm not pulling it too tight, I just want it even and secure. I'm going to do that all the way up here. The top here, I'm going to cut it back. I think that's where I need it. And into position. Now I am going to pull it down slightly because I don't want it being too loose on this side, so I am going to pull that down and into shape. Then I'm going to cut this level with the wood to the top and any extra out. That looks a bit neater all the way around there. At the base here, I'm just going to pull that down and into position and secure it on the back of the chair if I can. It was really awkward to do. In fact, I usually have to trick this into stapling, which is a bit annoying. I'll fix that, but basically a couple of staples there and one under here. It doesn't want to work because I can't put the safety down and get everything into place. I'll sort that out in a minute, but I'll also cut that down and out. I'm going to cut this back level with the side all the way down to the back of the chair. And as for this, starting in the middle, fold a little seam over and secure as close to the centre as you can. Make your way up to the top. The top should need to be folded in slightly. I usually work out where my fold is and then cut some of it back. I don't want it to look bulky. probably need to take a little bit more out so that comes in nicely. Just make it look nice and neat. Put a securing one there. Fold that under. No, take a bit more out and then secure it under that. You just want it tidy. You don't want somebody finding it and then working on it and pulling it out. That should work, I think, all the way to the top. I'll do the same, working it to the bottom as well. As with the seat, and push that down and under. Try to grab all of that fabric at the back and pull it to the back. Push it in so I can feel the inside of the chair, which is about there. And put my finger on there and pull it out as best I can because it does move. Oh golly gosh. Pull that down, pull that across at the front and then cut in. I want it at an angle. I'm going to have to pull it and push it until I've got it exactly where I want it, which I think is about there. I have a little bit more to cut into. Double check where it comes there and push the rest of the fabric to the back. And hopefully that should come at the corner where I want it. I might need to cut it from the other side. I've worked from the centre that way and now I'm just going to work from the centre this way, just pulling it down. I want the fabric to be against the back there and I'll make my way into the corner. I will cut this off first though because I don't want all that bulk there. Pull that down just a little bit, secure it so it doesn't bulk on the front. I'm going to fold that back because I don't want it interfering with the new cover that's going in. Worked in this side and I'm just going to work in this side. Usually I have to put clips in, but this fabric is quite a loose weave so I don't have to worry. If it was more of a curve then I would. So I'm just going to staple along here. Trying to keep the weave more or less even at the moment. I want the weft thread, which goes side to side, to look even on the front, and I'm only going to go up to the top here. I've tightened the top, I've got the bottom in tight. What I want to do is half where that is, which is there. So I'm going to cut in, not all the way, and I'm going to go not into the top but towards the top. The same down to the bottom, not all the way in but some of the way in. So I can go around that arm. Now I don't want to go all the way in because I'm going to be pulling that around and into place. So I'm going to ease that in just a little bit so I can push that back. I think I need a little bit more, probably a little bit down because it is rounded. I'm going to fold that piece under and back. I think I might need to go in maybe at the bottom there, but I'm going to push that all the way through to the back. If I can secure it, I will. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to fiddle with that so I can get that to come in underneath there and pull it in a little bit tighter. Before I pull the back in here, I want to pull this in. Oh, I need to cut this out because I don't really want to be cutting all of that out in a minute. Just back. It'll pull into place when I'm secure it. Pull that down like that. It should be so that the warp or weft threads are going up and down in a straight line. I'm going to secure that. Come towards the back, secure it here and down. I'm going to put my finger there so I know where to put it because I don't want to go over the wood there. And then I'll bring that down and secure that in line too. Cut this back. I might have to alter the top here. And make sure that the lines of the weave are as straight as I can make them. I'm going to fold that up under there like that and pull it to the back and secure. Here I'm going to bring it around, bring this little piece up to hide everything there like that and secure, and then bring this all around to the back as well and secure down. Pull all of this round and into place in a straight line to start off with. There's a little bit of a groove here. It's quite a loose weave, and starting from about here, pull that back. I'm going to put a little pleat here, pull that back, plain one there, a little pleat here, not so much that it shows on the front, it's just for the back, that would be fine. Then I'm going to come around the top, pull it into position, and then I shouldn't have any pleats on the front. So I'll come in this side, and then over the top and into place, also bringing that in and back slightly. Pull it there so I can see where I'm meant to be going to. Pull that in slightly until there's nothing up there. It does go in like this. Everything is behind this mark. I'll let that out because there's a little bit of a pucker there. There should be plenty of room along here for the piping to go on and the back tacking. So you don't want to go too close to the edge. You want to be at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches in. All I did here was pull this into shape, secure it there, put it along here into the shaping here and cut it back. I'll do the same on the other side. Now for here, I'm going to peel that back like that, cut that round so it fits down. Doesn't have to be perfect, just enough that it folds into place. And I'll cut it from the other side if I need to. I can bring that forward as far as I can, which isn't very far. I'm going to release this one here so I can move it. What I want to do is pull this either side of here. So I'm going to eyeball the centre, which is round about there, because I'm measuring from the outside there up. So round about here. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a start in the right direction. I'm going to come in. I'm going to go out to where I think that is. Not too far. And the same here, just a little bit out. And I'm going to bring it in to here and see where I am. I don't ever cut all of this in one go because by the time I've pulled this forward and other things, it can change. And the last thing you want is to cut so far down that you cannot fold that underneath, and you cannot fold the back piece underneath either. Now the back I can take a little bit more towards the back. I'm going to put my finger there and aim a little bit further over and a little bit higher. Pull it back in. Some people like to be able to pull it all the way down to the base, which you can do. That's perfectly okay. This just needs to be opened up a wee tad to go around. Maybe a bit of a cut towards the back too, and I'll see how that pulls in. As long as all these raw edges can be hidden behind, that's all that really matters. Just remember, it's very easy to go further back. The side of the arm comes up here. I always try to go midway. This has gone in really well. I'm pleased with that. Now on this side, I want to cut all of this back and into the back of here. So I take some of the bulk out. And I don't like the way it comes in here, so I'm going to put some stuffing behind there just to fill it out a little bit, spread it mainly to the front here. I'm just going to put a little bit more in to that corner there, pull it around, make sure that that is up and down, make sure there's no padding in there where I'm going to bring it into place. I'm going to cut that little piece out, I think, so it's not so bulky. I think I like that look. So I'm just going to come along and secure it into place. I'm going to take those out first. Pull that out, and I'll pull this one out. Fold that back. And I am going to cut the front of this dacron up and around and down. It doesn't have to be perfect because when I pull the rest of the chair down, it will pull it into place. That is on the centre, or more or less where the centre is. Pull that down. Make sure you've either taken out or hammered in any of the staples that are underneath. Bring that down. I'm not going to pull it out. I'm just going to pull it into place and check underneath and secure it. Now I check underneath because there is a pattern. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to pull that in. Make sure that these lines are more or less even, like that, and secure it. Bring this down so it's even here across. Work out where the top of the pattern is and secure all the way around. The same on the other side, just bring it down with your fingers and into place. Okay, having done that, I'm now going to cut the fabric back as close to the pattern as I can. Little nips at it. Once you've got the shaping, you can then either decide to go a little bit closer or a bit further away with your staples, but you really want this in place before you decide on anything. When I put the double piping on, I can roll that back. Now I want to keep the fabric even to about 3 or 4 inches in from the end. Pull that in and secure it. I've got to go up and over those leaves. I'll do the other side first. Pull that in so it's even. I worked from the outside into the centre because that was a little bit easier for me to do. Because then I can pull it in with my fingers and see how much more I need to pull it in by. I think that's a bit too much stuffing. Pull that out. I only want a little bit in there just to fill it out a little bit. And I'm going to pull that down, pull that forward and pull that down. I think I'm going to take some of that out and then I can get right in there. Take it all the way to the back. Fold that down, fold that into place, push that all the way back. I'm going to cut some of this out. I don't really care for it being that far down. Bring that down there. And I'm going to secure this. Pull this into this corner and secure. Take that up, pull the fabric into place around the corner of the leg. I'm going to bring it down just a little wee tad and then take those out. Cut down in a straight line to the top of the shaping. I'm going to take those two out so I can pull that up a little bit further. I've cut most of the shaping out. I'll get that again in a second. Pull that across. Take a bit more of that out because I really don't need it there. I'm going to pull it down like this, but before I staple it in, I'm just going to make sure that I can get those threads going up and down, which I can. So I'm going to secure this here, bring this down, fold that back a bit more and secure it into place. And again, just secure it, pulling it down from the corner. I can take that a little bit further down, to be honest. And then when you're happy with it, cut it all back. It looks complicated, but it is actually quite easy. I did cut a little bit more of this out, so this would go in without too much bulk. It's a case of take your time and work it all in. Now I'll do the other side. This is single piping. I cut it 1.5 inches wide, folded it over like that and just sewed down. Because it is a fabric with the pile, I put a little V at the bottom of the pile so as I go down it's shaded the same. With double piping I usually start with 2 ends. I fold one side over like that and lay the second length of piping cord on top. Fold that like that and slide it into place under a double piping foot. Now you can use a normal foot, but you really have to balance it between the 2 lengths of cording that you're putting in. All the way down, I just fold that in and fold that on top. Whenever I come to a join in the fabric, I cut the fabric back to within 1/4 of an inch of the seam so that there's not too much bulk going in. Before I attach it, I cut off the excess here so that it can be glued into place. I have a little patch that is empty at the bottom here, which I am going to put a little way above because I've got double piping going in. I'm going to run the outside of the piping along the outside of the wood frame and then secure it. And I'm going to go sideways or slight angle all the way up. Here I'm going to follow the frame around the top to the other side. I don't want to go all the way to the bottom of here because I've got double piping and quite a bit going in. So I'm going to start here, which is about 1/2 inch up, so that when I pull everything down I can secure it on down and into place. So the front end of here is running along the inside of the piping. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to line up the bottom of here with this and staple it into position all the way along. If I pull the dacron down at the back it will hold and I don't have to put too many staples across the bottom, and I'm going to pull it out slightly to the sides as well. I've already turned most of these down, almost touching the piping along here because it's easier to pull into place. I think that looks even, and I'm going to loosely cut around on the outside of the piping for now. Along the top here, I'm just going to fold the fabric underneath and hammer it into position. I'm going to make my way around. I'm going to pull it a little bit out and to the side here, recut so that it's more in line. Push that under the teeth. Always go back the other way as well, don't just do it one direction. There's a little section here that I need to take the staples out and put them back in. Once I've done that, I will bring that in and bring it all the way down to the bottom. I am going to cut that back at an angle like that. Put a bit of glue on there to keep everything together. And then across the bottom here, I'm going to just push it over so all those loose edges are underneath. I'll get back to it in a minute. And then, having cut all of the excess fabric off at the back, I'm going to pop that on to there like that. Now hopefully I'll be able to get that to go in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. With a bit of luck I'll catch it on the other end when I come round and into place like that. And I'm going to just make my way around here. I'll make alterations if I need to. I shouldn't need to. I think I've got everything where I need it to be. And I put quite a bit of glue on because I don't want it coming off. I tend to work from the outside in, secure that in a straight line, make my way up the corner here and into place, just to the corner, and then I'll come down the other side. So I go up and I've come round. Oh, shoot, that hurt. I really dislike this stuff. I come down the other side and into place. Oh my giddy on that. And then along the front, I'll follow the contours, push that back up. I enough burn myself then. Unfortunately, my staples are too wide to use and put this in. So I'm going to follow this around the decorative part here. I have my join here. I'm going to come over just slightly and cut at an angle again. And with the glue, I'm going to come along here underneath, almost to that join, but not quite. Bring that down, kind of hold it in position, and that comes over the top. Glue down there, up there, push that down on top. It should join up quite nicely. I'm going to very carefully push that into place on all sides, so it kind of melts in there. Just really so that part on there kind of looks like the rest of it. I decided to take the piping straight across rather than up and round. I think it looks neater. The second thing I altered was this went around and then it had double piping all the way along. I don't think that's necessary. I think the little cuff on the end looks perfectly okay. So I think those two alterations were perfect for this job. Thank you for joining me on this little project. I think it's turned out really well. I'm sure my friend will be very pleased with it. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up would be brilliant. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.